I'm back and I'm still at work, and I actually just shot the rant of the week for yesterday, and now I'm doing the second rant of the week for today. Hope you guys don't mind that I'm doing two, but I wanted to do this Cybertronian mode one. I mentioned it in my Shockwave review that I was going to do it, so I wanted to do it. But this one is, I have to get this off my chest because there's Maketoys. What the hell is the matter with you guys? I mean, I'm probably gonna get some shit for this one, but and you know, whatever. But their decisions lately has just left me going, what are you doing? You guys are just I mean, it's beyond words how dumb they're being lately. Yeah, and when they first came out with their Devastator, I was on board with that. I really, really like that, the Devastator. And, you know, as I've said before in my videos, John Lant was the one that convinced me to get the Hercules. So I got Hercules, and I like him a little bit better. But that, I mean, that doesn't detract from the fact that the Maketoys Devastator was a good toy. And at the time, you know, they both announced their Devastators about the same time, and they both released them about the same time. So, you know, I'm not going to fault them for deciding to do that and then not succeeding, you know. Or, well, I mean, they succeeded with it, but, you know, since there's such a small market for people that buy toys, these particular really expensive toys, you know, for the most of the time when I see two companies putting out the same product, I sit there and it's like, why would you do that? You know, but when they're first announcing the projects right off the bat, and there's two doing it, and then it's more of a, well, that sucks because they're both put all their, you know, money into these projects probably, and this is all they're getting. So anyway, but lately Maketoys has just been doing one thing after another that I just sit there and it's like, who's running this company? Because I work at a hotel, so and I have a business mindset. I've been trained to think like a business person. I mean, that'd be like if, you know, if I were to decide to, I'm gonna open up a new hotel, and I'm gonna do it across the street from my current hotel, because my current hotel is a multi-million-dollar property. You know, it's all suites. It's, you know, really nice. And I'm not sitting here tooting my own horn here. 2007 we won Inn of the Year, because at the time we were quality suites, and we were considered the best quality suites in the world. So yeah, anyway, that'd be like if I decided I'm going to open up a Super 8 across the street and try and compete with them. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. There's no competition. Yeah, I'd get those people that don't want to pay the big bucks to stay at a nicer hotel, but I'm gonna be drowning in debt real quick if you do something like that. You know, that's if you it's just poor business choices. So I can't fault them for doing that when, you know, the first go round. And then they decided to make their mini bots. They did the Hover and Bomber, the Sea Spray and Power Glide, which I did review. Those guys are pretty decent figures, but now a year came out and they're like, yeah, we're better than you. So it's like, okay. They moved on. So then they do, let's see, the Battle Tanker. I think that was the next one they did, which was a head scratcher. The fact that they decided, The issue for me with the Battle Tanker is the fact that to get the Reveal the Shield Optimus Prime, you spend $15. You spend like $115 to get the Battle Tanker. And I could never justify buying the Battle Tanker because of the fact that for less money I can get the original G2 Laser Prime in package. And that figure still holds up to this day. He's bigger, he's better, and he's just better quality, and he's not a parts former. So I don't see what the appeal was for that. I know a lot of people did really enjoy it, but okay. And then of course they do the repaints for the Battle Tanker for like the Shattered Glass Prime and the Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, which I said again, it's kind of like that's a very small market of people that would want to spend that money on the Battle Tanker, and then also be able to spend the $200+ to get the Ultra Magnus or the Shattered Glass Prime. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. But whatever. And then they did the Fallen. And just delay after delay after delay with that one. It was pretty bad. And then they repainted the add-ons to the Fallen for Power Core Combiners. Which also, as far as I know, they're still delayed. I mean, we're talking like 6 to 8 months delays on these things. It was just pretty bad. Sorry, I'm hearing people walking around. I'm like, hoping I'm not waking them up. Anyway, so a couple new things that they've done in the last few months is they made Nova Prime, and he was a decent figure, not a great figure, but he's basically a retool of their Battle Tanker, but with a entirely new core robot, which was redesign of the Reveal the Shield Optimus Prime. It's like, okay. They didn't make one that fit right in there, normally, so you're just going to do your own. Alright, kind of treading very closely into that knockoff territory. But now they've announced that they're going to be retooling that one back into a copy of the Reveal the Shield Optimus Prime. Yes, it's not a direct knockoff, but you're taking the design of an official figure and you're remaking it your own way without really altering it. And that's a knockoff. I'm sorry, but that is a knockoff. And they're going to be charging big bucks for it. My guess is probably $50, $60 for that figure. And I don't think it's worth it. Not when you can go buy the Reveal the Shield one for still $15, $20. Even on eBay. And then they're going to do options of you buy it with or without the Battle Tanker. It's like, okay, just whatever. It doesn't make sense why you want to knock off a toy that's not that rare. If like KO Toys did the Seekers, and they started primarily with the ones that were hard to find, like the Thundercracker, Skywarp, and the Coneheads. Those guys were kind of harder to find, and then they started repainting them into all sorts of different colorations. Still knockoff. Was not the decent quality figures. But I mean, they still weren't just repainting or remaking like classic Starscream, which I could still buy for like $20 on eBay. He's not that hard to find. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense to me that they're doing this. I think it's a very bad form, especially at this stage of their company, and focusing so much on this damn battle taker. It's not that awesome. And like I said, I mean, for the same price, or now less than the same price, you can go buy the original G2 Laser Optimus Prime. He's about the size of Orion, and he still holds up pretty good to this day, and he's fucking awesome. And he has 5mm hand pulls, so he can hold anything. Anyway, that's not the only thing that they did that was like, why? So then they decide that they're gonna do Swerve and Gears, and it's like, okay, I don't see why you'd want to do that. Again, bad business decision there. Yes, they look awesome. They're probably the best versions of those characters out there, and that's going to be out there. But a lot of people already put money into the iGear ones, so they're not going to buy another. A lot of people won't buy another third party of the same figure when they already have one. Even if the iGear one is inferior, they've already spent, $40-50 on the damn thing. They don't want to spend another $40-50 to get it again. But to continue the process of making them after Hasbro announced that they're doing them in that Legends class scale, which means they're the same size, so just about. And they're only $10. For me, there is no competition. I'm going Hasbro with that all the way, because Swerve and Gears were never a character that I really cared about. Plus, the Swerve figure I have is pretty fucking awesome. I really like that figure, and they're retooling it into Gears, so there you go. I mean, why? Yes, a lot of people love those figures. I'm not discrediting their quality on those figures. But you're putting yourself into a situation that you shouldn't be putting yourself into. It would have been smarter if they were going to do the Minibot scale again, to do the other Minibots that aren't renounced, the ones that aren't on the way and haven't been made by a different company. And then later on release your Swerve, because you've already got a line. I know if I start buying a particular line of a toy, even if something better comes along or cheaper, or something I already have, I'll probably continue with that same line. So, if they did a new Power Glide, I'd be all over that. And then down the line, I'd be like, okay, well, now they're doing Swerve and Gears, and I already have a Swerve and Gears, but they don't quite fit in with this particular line, so I might as well go get those now. But now they're not going to sell out, not very quickly anyway. Now they're probably going to end up on clearance. I mean, at least when they did their Devastator and they realized that they're going up against TFC on that, they decided that they're going to do yellow version first. At least they decided to do that, so it's a different type. Okay. So then the next thing is they also did the Armageddon add-on kit, which is the add-on kit for Omega Supreme. Again, it looks cool, but ultimately it costs more than the damn toy itself. It's like $115, $120 for an add-on kit for an or Omega Supreme that looks pretty damn good on its own. And it looks good to have add-ons, but when I'm already in the $215 range plus shipping, I'll probably just spend the extra, $90 and get the Planet X version. So again, they're throwing themselves into a competition that they don't belong in. If that add-on kit was, $20-$30, then we can talk. Or if they did it like Crazy Debbie used to do their things, like, okay, we're going to release the wings first, for only $20. Okay, I would buy the wings. Now we're going to release some more show accurate cannon for $20. Okay, I'd buy that. If they did it slowly, I would probably be down with it. But to just throw it all out there at $100 more money than the actual toy is, makes me kind of question why they would do that. And now, the biggest thing, quite literally the biggest thing, is the fact that they made a Metroplex. Why? Just why? He's only a little taller than Omega Supreme, and Omega Supreme is about half the size of the Hasbro Metroplex. So this guy's almost half the size of the official figure. And he is $400. So 4 times the cost of something that's twice its size. I'm trying to think of a way to describe this to you. Okay, imagine you're over here, you're looking for a house. No, you're looking for a car. This will probably be easier. And you have the option of getting a brand new Dodge Charger, or for 4 times the cost, you can get a Dodge Neon. Would you do that? I wouldn't. That's one figure you'll never see reviewed on my channel, is because I will not spend $400 on a figure that is half the size of an official release and 4 times the cost. I gotta pause this for a second. Okay. It just... I don't even know what to think about that decision. Yeah, they say they're planning on making their own CityBot scale. But this goes back to what I was saying about the swerving gears. If they were to release Trypticon first, $400, I would probably pick it up, because I don't have a Trypticon and I really want a Trypticon. If they were to release a Scorponok for $400 in that scale, again, I would probably pick up the Scorponok. And if they were to release a Fortress Maximus in that scale for $400, I would probably pick it up. I mean, I know BotCon's coming around in a week or so, or a couple weeks. So maybe Hasbro will do a Trypticon. But if they don't, I'm not really holding my breath that we will have a Titan class Trypticon. And if that's the case, and I had Maketoys Trypticon, and I had Maketoys Scorponok, and I had Maketoys Fortress Maximus, and I'm sitting there with 3 CityBot scale figures from them, and then they do their Metroplex, then I might be sitting there going, well, everybody else is in the scale. Maybe I should pick that up, and that'd make me think again. But to do it first, you're just throwing yourself into direct competition with the king of all the figures. Hasbro is the king. You know, they I mean, they make the benchmark that the third-party figures try and follow. Yeah, sometimes the third-party companies, a lot of times they'll surpass the quality and design elements of Hasbro, but there's no question. I mean, would there even be much of a third-party company right now if Hasbro hadn't started the Classics line? I'm just saying. So, it just doesn't make sense to me to do the things that they're doing. And then they're doing Computron, and up until recently nobody else was doing it, and now Warbototron has announced that they're doing a Computron as well, and I, as of right now, that's not even, there's no competition there. It would be Maketoys all the way for me. I'm not going to. I don't think I'll be picking up Computron for Maketoys. I'm sure TFC will get to them. I might, depending on the cost. Plus, everything's now in the TFC scale range. So, but anyway, you know, at least they're doing that. That is the one thing that they have going for them. And like I said, I don't consider Warbototron competition yet because Airburst was such a bad figure. I just can't see. I can't see, you know, unless they change their entire quality quota. It's never going to happen. They're not going to survive. You know, they're supposed to have all their figures out last month. I think it was May or June. They're supposed to have all the original Bruticus figures out, and they still haven't. And now they're teasing Computron. The company's going down the toilet, and it's going to go down fast. They were probably anticipating lots of sales. And a lot of companies, like, you have to buy a lot of, or they have to sell a lot of figures, and then they use the money to finish the next figure. And that's probably the case here. Anyway, back to Maketoys. But then, okay, so they're doing Computron. It's like, okay. But then they announced that they're also going to be doing Defensor. And it's still in sketch phases. Again, the question that comes to mind is why? Why would you do that? TFC's already got one figure out. They've got the next figure on pre-order, and we've already seen Hotspot. Or some promo pictures of Hotspot. So, by the time Maketoys is done making their Computron, which was supposed to come out in November, from what I heard, of last year. That's when it was originally supposed to come out, and that kind of came and went. So after all the delays on their current projects, and then after funding the Defensor project and putting it out, we are probably already, I mean, I will guarantee you we will already have the TFC Defensor. I'm not saying that the TFC Defensor is going to be a superior product. We don't know yet. My guess is probably it will be. And a lot of people will probably buy it. Especially, you know, wait until they see the finished product. But why? There's other combiners, people. you know, I went into this with the Share the Love videos, but there's other combiners that you can work on, or work on anything else. You know, I mean, make toys. You're proud of your battle tanker. Well, why don't you make an updated G2 Megatron that'd be in that same size scale? That would be awesome. I would buy that in a second. Just saying. Or how about the G2 Cyberjets? That would be pretty cool. What, you know, your first product was a G2 Devastator. Why not stick into the G2 era? You know, a lot of people love the G2 Thundercracker, which was Action Master, but they also like the G2 Ramjet, and the G2 Breakdown, and G2 Sideswipe, the Masterpiece G2 Sideswipe. So there's a market out there for the G2 collectors. I really like G2 as well. I really like the offensive colors. So why don't you guys stop what you're doing and try and focus a little bit more on G2? No one else will bother you in the G2 era. You know, if you want to do Bruticus, do Bruticus, but do G2 Bruticus first. That would be so cool. And then you can do Ruination. You couldn't stop me from buying Ruination. There's one of the few things I really liked from Robots in Disguise. But I mean, why throw yourself into competition with another company when you're just going to be hurting yourself? Competition is good because it makes people make the superior product. That's probably why Mastermind Creations has been delayed so much with their Predaking, is because they probably are like, oh, we've got to compete with TFC and Unique Toys. We got to make sure this thing's damn perfect when it first comes out. And that's great. You know, competition's great for the consumer, not for the business sometimes. Yeah. This is why, like, Impossible Toys went out of business, is because nobody wants to buy their products because they're inferior to everybody else's. So if you keep throwing yourself into these kind of situations, you're just going to create more issues, and you're not going to be able to continue funding your projects. You need to make toys. You need to focus on things that aren't being done. And I think G2 would be a great place for you to go, because I would love to see G2 Megatron. Cyberjets, if you make a G2 Hooligan, I would be ecstatic. I mean, you know, things like that. I don't see why one, that's not being done, and two, why people putting themselves into competition. I mean, KFC's a fucking moron too. I'll go into that briefly real quick, because they're doing Skybite, and Hasbro's doing a Skybite. Really, you really think that you're going to make a superior product to Skybite, the Hasbro version? And they also did the Citizen Stack, which, you know, a lot of people bought. Everyone enjoyed it, and then they decided, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to do the real release later. This first one was just the special version for the first people that bought it. But you're still going in direct competition with Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, which is $50 cheaper. And now they're doing a Cyclonus figure, which is far inferior to the classic Cyclonus, but only like half an inch taller, I believe. Something like that. And it's like, yeah, you guys, having your mind? I mean, but yeah, make toys. They just need to, I don't know, focus on a different project for a while. drop the knockoff of Reveal a Shield Prime. Just stop now before it's too late. Just, you know, if you want to sell something that might actually sell, you know, why don't you make a Ultra Magnus with the Battle Tanker? Because there's no regular Ultra Magnus in the Reveal the Shield Prime mold. And if you did the tanker right, painted it right, it could look pretty cool as an Ultra Magnus. So you could do that. But after that, you should really just back off on things like that. Hey, you think you're making smart decisions, but you're just... Yeah. Anyway, so what are your guys' thoughts on Maketoys' current business decisions on figures they're going to come out with? Are you excited for them? Or are you like me and just sitting there like, please stop. Please stop. It's like... It's like when you see a train wreck happen. You want it to stop. You can't stop watching it. It's just like, look at just the carnage. Just eruption. Anyway, that's my thoughts. What are you guys' thoughts on Maketoys? Do you think they're swirling the drain like I do? Because I think they're swirling the drain, and it's really unfortunate because it's a very good company that make very good products that could potentially have a really good future in the third-party industry. They could be the next Fans Project. I know they're somewhat related to Fans Project, but I think in their own way, like, their Devastator was superior to Fans Project's Minosaur. So yeah. Anyway, so this has been 35 minutes now, so yeah. At least we have, like, TFC, which seems to be continuously getting better. Unique Toys, which those guys are... I mean, they made the decision to make the Psykill, which was not the best decision, but at the same time, there is a market for it and nobody else is doing it. So at least they have that for them. But other than that, they're doing a pretty good job keeping up with things. I mean, yeah, everyone's like, oh yeah, Mastermind Creations, Predaking's better, TFC's Predaking's better. Well, guess what? Unique Toys Predaking's out. So they have the market on that one cornered. You know, a lot of people want instant gratification. They don't want to sit there for months waiting for things. They're just, hey, I can go spend $250 on TF Source and get a loose version of him, and he's built. That's it. Anyway, I'm gonna stop.